Did you know that 85% of all jobs are filled by doing this one thing? And once you know what it is, landing a killer summer job is an absolute snap. Hey everyone, Matt here from Family Money School. Even though you're eager to work, it's not always easy landing a seasonal job. But don't worry, we've got you covered. So let's dive in. First up, when you're looking for a summer job, you need to start before everyone else. You don't want to be fighting hundreds or even thousands of other people for the same summer jobs. That's why it's critical to plan ahead when you're trying to find summer work. The key question to consider when figuring out when you should be applying is, when is the last day of school in your area? And because you're going to be competing against both high school and college students, you should do a bit of research on when local colleges start their summer breaks. Then give yourself a 2-month head start. That means you should start looking in March and April. Now, that may seem a bit early, but employers love seeing proactive people who are well prepared and plan ahead for success. By the time the summer sun is blazing, there will be crowds of students looking for work. So be sure to snag your summer job by finding and applying to jobs before the rest of your competition. Next, you need to use your network to get to work. According to LinkedIn, up to 85% of all jobs are filled by networking. Come on, no way. No, seriously, it's true. Networking can sound a bit complicated, but it's really not. Networking is simply getting to know people. It's building and maintaining relationships and creating a network or web of people that can lead to amazing opportunities. A person in your network is someone who can support you professionally or help you find opportunities to work, volunteer, gain experience, or help you make valuable connections. Now, your first gut reaction might be,
"But I don't know anyone like that. I don't have a web of people who are well connected and can help me find a job."
Well, the reality is that you may not have a killer network yet, but those around you probably do. Reach out to people you know who are well connected, meaning they know lots of people, especially those in business who work at the manager level and above. The types of people you're looking for here are teachers, coaches, and your parents. Hi, mom and dad. They may be your parents' friends, a pastor, or a neighbor. You may have been part of a volunteer organization or a youth group like 4-H or Scouts. Essentially, you're brainstorming anyone you can think of that you've met who could help you in your job hunt. Then, and here's the scary part, reach out to them. The point is that you need to let people know that you're looking for a job. Nobody's going to know that you're trying to find summer work unless you tell them. So put it out into the world. Ask and ye shall receive. Now, I've actually been working on a step-by-step process where you can build your own network specifically targeted to developing employment connections. It'll help you go from 0 job connections to 25 in a flash. And you can grab it in the description below. After you put the word out to your network, you need to start applying for jobs at places where you don't have any direct contacts. To keep you from banging your head against the wall in the process, you need to be strategic in where you look. Sure, you could go to a job site like Indeed or Monster, but that's what everyone's going to do. To find the diamonds in the rough, you need to spend some time looking in the rough. And there are tons of golden opportunities out there. Local stores often need good help, and not just in the summer. While there are larger companies that hire teens and students, mom and pop businesses need help too, and they might be more open to hiring someone with less experience. If you can show that you're hardworking, reliable, and willing to learn, you just might strike up a great working relationship with one of your local small business owners, which can lead to a job. Some examples of local small companies that hire teens include restaurants, bakeries, landscaping companies, car washes, and pet care and grooming companies. If you're in doubt, just hit up Main Street or your local downtown. Hotels and resorts can also be a great place to look for summer work. Summer is the busy season for most of these businesses, and they are often looking for help when the weather starts to warm up. In addition, as the weather improves, golf courses and tennis clubs are also usually looking for part-time help. Next, you should definitely check out various parks and recreation departments. City, state, and national parks, as well as recreational departments, often develop special summer programming. With these programs come great opportunities. And often various government agencies sponsor different kinds of summer youth work programs, which can be a great place to hunt for a summer job. And let's not forget about summer camps. Okay, you went to camp as a kid, but now you can go back as a counselor and get paid while being at camp. So don't miss out on that opportunity. And of course, there's always working for yourself. There are all sorts of jobs or businesses that you can develop for yourself in your neighborhood or town. And to help you get started, check out my video on the best side hustles that make a ton of money. But to take your job search to the next level, you need to go beyond the application. Now, when many teens apply for a job, the process looks something like this. Walk into the establishment where they want to work. Ask the person working at the front of the store, the till, or customer service for an application. Fill out the application in store, hand the application back to the person they got it from, leave the store. End of story. But there are massive problems with just filling out an application. I mean, applications are a dime a dozen. They often get misplaced or lost. And more often than not, hiring is not a 911 emergency. I mean, managers and owners will get to it when they are not running the day-to-day operations. And second, most people applying for jobs never follow up, which means they rarely hear back about their application. It lays buried in a stack of other applications, and you become just one of the many faces in the sea of job hunters. Avoiding these two mistakes will allow your application to rise to the top and help you catch the eye of the people hiring. So instead, speak with whoever actually hires. Often teens will hand their resumes or applications to the front of store staff. And this staff rarely has the authority to make hiring decisions. Managers, owners, they often work in an office away from where the customers are. Now note, it's important that you are polite and respectful to the front of store staff. I mean, along with it just being good practice to always treat everyone with respect, managers will often ask front desk staff about their impressions of potential employees. Hand deliver your application and resume to the hiring manager and let them know that you're excited at the prospect of working at their business and that you'd love to speak more with them about it. If they're unavailable, ask the front of store staff member when they would be free to chat with you and come back with your application at that time. Again, this will make you stand out from the crowd and allow you to speak to the people who are actually making the decisions about hiring. And be sure to make your resume shine. I mean, I have seen a lot of resumes. I've definitely seen the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. And when it comes to resumes, there are 4 key things every resume needs to make it shine. Okay, first, it needs to be simple, clean, organized, and well laid out. When it comes to your layout, less is definitely more. I mean, you don't want any flowery designs, colored, or unique fonts. Instead, stick with the classic fonts like Times New Roman, Calibri, and Arial, and only use black for color. And to keep things simple and clean, be sure to use bullet points, not long paragraphs. Second, it needs to have all the important information that employers want to know in the right order. First, you'll need to have your header, which contains your name, address, and contact information. You should have your phone number and a professional email. Be sure that you use a professional email. I mean, you don't want to use something like Oilers Rule 2008fan@gmail.com. If you don't have a professional email, be sure that you set one up. Now, the font should be large enough to grab people's attention, but not so big that it looks out of place. Next, list your relevant skills. Now, since work and volunteer experience can be sometimes limited for teens, this is an important section. Think about what skills your employer would want you to bring to the table. For example, being a cashier in a grocery store is a pretty common job for teens, but there are elements that can be difficult and demanding. The job requires attention to detail, great customer service skills, and the ability to solve problems quickly. If you intend to show up on time and just do your job, I guess that's fine, but don't list that. You want to let your employers know that you plan to do more than just the minimum, so keep that in mind when mentioning accomplishments in this section. And if you're not sure specifically what skills you have, ask yourself, what types of things do you do for your family and friends? In all likelihood, the answer to this question will reveal some of the many skills you'll bring to the table for a potential employer. Next up is work experience. Now, this is anything that you've been paid to do, other than by your family. And there are 2 types of work experience, formal and informal. So formal is things like, have you worked at other jobs like an ice cream shop, a grocery store, or a restaurant? If so, add it to this section. And informal jobs can also be listed. These might be things like babysitting, yard maintenance, cleaning houses, or painting your neighbor's fence. Include a short bullet description of what you did and when you did it, including the month and year. Next up, you'll list your education. Now again, for teens, this is going to be a small section. If you're in junior high, just put junior high. If you're in high school, put you're in high school and what year you're in. Just be sure to leave out your elementary school experience. Now, 82% of managers like to see resumes with volunteer experience, which is why you need to include it on yours. It's a great way to stand out from the crowd, can show that you're community-minded and selfless, willing to work hard for more than just money. It also gives you a chance to showcase some of your skills that are relevant to the job, so be sure you don't leave it out. The final section on your resume are the references. Now these can be character or related to your job. Now references are especially important because most teens have a lack of work experience. So having great references can really help you stand out from the crowd. Your references should be able to talk about your character, your work ethic, or your skill set. Now, a note here, they should not be your relatives, as this looks super unprofessional. Plus, everyone expects that your mom is going to say you're amazing. Instead, choose teachers, pastors, former bosses, people you volunteered with, music teachers, coaches, and even family friends who have known you for a long time. And before listing a reference on your resume, you should always contact them to let them know that you're looking for a job and that you'd love to use them as a reference. If they agree, be sure to get their phone number so you can list it on the resume. Now, in addition, you can also add sections on awards you've won, certifications or trainings you've received, and any activities that you've participated in. And for the love of Pete, proofread, proofread, proofread. Nothing kills a resume like typos. You may be a fantastic candidate for a job, but you'll be rejected hard if your amazing resume includes even one nasty spelling mistake or sentence that doesn't make sense. Not only should you proofread it, but get your friend who's an English rock star and or your mom or dad to read it over as well. Now, if you followed all the steps up to this point, you're gonna get an interview. In fact, you'll get a ton of them. And so it's critical that you crush the interview. Now, first and foremost, you absolutely must show up on time. If your interview is at 10 a.m., don't arrive right at 10. Great rule of thumb is to show up 10 minutes early. Not too early and not cutting it too close, just right. Next, you'll need to dress to impress. What you wear can be as important as what you say. When dressing for your interview, you want to impress your potential employer and come across as responsible, mature, and ready to work. Make sure your clothes are neat, cleaned, and ironed. Try to find out how people dress at the place you want to work and dress the same or slightly better. Make sure that you do your hair as though you're going out for a nice dinner with your family. And skip the perfume, cologne, or aftershave. You want to smell clean and nice, but not overpower the interviewer or worse, upset someone with allergies. Now, it's normal to be nervous in your interview, but there are some simple techniques you can use to project confidence to your potential employer and show them that you really can rock the job. First, make eye contact. Keeping natural and steady eye contact throughout your interview is an awesome way to show confidence. Try to maintain natural eye contact instead of making eye contact that feels intense or prolonged. Awkward, isn't it? This can include occasionally looking down at the resume that you brought with you to the interview before turning your attention back to the interviewer. Next, you'll want to practice your posture. Body language goes a long way in communicating confidence during your interview. Sit with your arms unfolded in your lap or on the table in front of you to convey an open, friendly attitude. Make your back straight with your shoulders back and your chest and chin raised slightly so that the interviewer knows that they have your full attention. And be sure to rock your handshake. A firm handshake shows experience and confidence, and it gives the interviewer a good first impression. Be sure to smile and look the interviewer in the eye when you shake hands. If your palm is slightly wet or damp, gently press it against the side of your pants or skirt before shaking hands. Greet the person with their name and a pleasantry such as, "It's very nice to meet you, Miss Smith." Have a firm handshake, but don't apply too much force. The handshake should last between 2 and 5 seconds, which usually equals 2 or 3 pumps. And you'll need to forget fidgeting. Fidgeting is a sign of nervousness. If you tend to tap your fingers or twirl your hair, practice keeping your hands folded on the table or in your lap. Make a point not to keep a pen or paper in your hands if you typically fidget with anything you're holding. Before you go to the interview, try asking a friend or family member to tell you how you fidget so you can be aware of your habits and work on them. And be sure to take your time in answering. Confident people speak calmly and slowly and take their time when answering the questions asked. To stop yourself from rambling, answer each question by addressing one point at a time. And if you feel like you need a few seconds to gather your thoughts, feel free to say, "That's a great question. Let me think about that for a second." Also, don't be afraid to ask the interviewer for clarification of the question or to repeat it. That's very, very normal. And to really make a lasting impression, prepare for common interview questions. A job interview can be a nerve-wracking experience, especially since you don't have much experience with the interview process. To reduce your stress, it's a great idea to practice answering some of the most commonly asked interview questions ahead of time. The best strategy is to have a parent, sibling, or friend role play the interview with you so that you can practice your answers and work on eye contact, body language, and gain experience in thinking on your feet before your interview. Now, some of the most common questions you might encounter in an interview are ones like, why are you looking for a job? Why do you want to work for our company? How has your schooling prepared you for this job? What do you think it takes to be a successful employee in this position? And tell me about a major problem you recently faced and how you solved it. Now, as you work through these questions, you'll find that this is also a great confidence builder. So you'll probably feel a lot less nervous when the time comes to talk with a hiring manager. Now, making money with a killer summer job is awesome, but if you're not wise, you'll end up spending it all and have no cash to show for all your hard work. Which is why in the next video, I'll show you 5 things I learned that made living below my means easy and allowed me to save a boatload of money. I'll see you there.